Welcome back, folks. We're here on Smite Game 2 with your North American Challenger Cup. Last game we saw Disney Rapunzel take out a chunk of the enemy. This time around, as they pass on to the next round, we're going to take a look at Acceleration versus That's a Paddlin. First bans are out. Geb Mercury, pretty standard.
Yeah, pretty standard. Still strong picks. Mercury did get a nerf to his laning potential, but he's still going to be roughly as strong in the jungle. And the big nerf is, with the radius of the old Mage You Look, you could actually outrange Hunter's auto attacks. They remove the ability to do that until very high ranks of the ability, until like rank 4 or 5, where you can, but it's still close.
Right.
And Arachne banned away by
I
Acceleration.
respect that.
So I want to say it's a target ban, but I'm not sure.
Arachne is a character that is very, 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 very strong at the moment. It's just that because the kit has been completely changed around, Cret, we don't see her a lot at high-level play, especially considering the fact that high-level players, more so in the SPL than the Challenger Cup, but high-level players generally don't play casuals. They'll only play ranked, where Arachne is currently banned. I personally think that Arachne is very strong, so Acceleration thinks so, and maybe they looked at That's a Paddlin and saw that somebody has played it once or twice, warranting the ban, so...
I mean, the thing about Arachne that we've seen so far on the Challenger Cup is she is kiteable, and so there's definitely counterplay. She doesn't really have a good way to get in and get out. You have your ultimate. You can only use that once. But when she's in, it's the same thing. Don't fight the bug. Don't stand next to Arachne.
Exactly.
She will kill you. She does have slightly different, and I want to say overall better ways of sticking to people, but she doesn't have the pull that she previously could use to put someone out of position. So, interesting dynamic. I'm not sold on the ban-worthiness because I think there's enough counterplay to the character.
I'll agree with that. The counterplay to the character does require a certain amount of mechanical prowess, which is definitely a thing. And in the same vein, I view Arachne very similar to Loki. Similar kits, and at the end of the day, Cret, sometimes you just don't want to deal with her. She's got a better Valkyrie's Discretion, essentially. Doesn't deal damage as far as defensive is concerned.
Yes.
There's no damage, but it's instantaneous, and you get movement speed, and you are just out. It's very problematic. It's definitely one of those old sort of when we used to see people ban Zeus. It's definitely one of those bans where you just don't want to deal with it. Counter bans and picks have come out. So Acceleration started off their picks with Athena, Loki, Ra, pretty standard. Nuwa, Apollo, and Chak at the side of That's a Paddlin. They round out their team with Agni and Thor. That's a Paddlin looks very classic right now.
Kind of. There's
not the oldest gods in the book, but just classic in the sense that we have a tanky solo, we have a mid-mage, Thor in the jungle. Actually,
they're missing something. Yeah, they're missing a guardian. So it is classic. I was about to agree with you, and then I was like, wait a second. They don't have a guardian.
Not quite. So
and
that's gonna be interesting.
I respect that. I mean, when Geb is banned and Athena is picked, you have to go to your third string pick. Bacchus is sort of the standard, but it's not completely widespread. Everyone knows Athena, Geb, but not everyone will play Bacchus as their third pick. So why not go into something that's a little bit more niche and that you know rather well? It's going to be a Freya ADC coming out from Acceleration, so a Freya Athena lane. We'll see how that works out. Ra likely in the middle lane. Yeah, it will be in the middle lane because Mystics is their mid laner. Loki solo and Nemesis in the jungle.
So That's a Paddle. This is actually a good brain exercise, Cret. We can expect to see Apollo in the Hunter role. He's gone.
Totally.
We can expect to see Agni in the mid role. He's gone. Nuwa and Chak, we can both sort of see. So Thor is honestly what I would consider I would like to see Thor support, Chak jungle, Nuwa solo. Especially against the Freya, because anything that can, after you hear the Pulse or Radiate combo activate, you can stun, you immediately remove the effectiveness of 1 or 2 seconds of Freya. If you go ahead and level the Tectonic Rift, you're severely neutering Freya. I would love to see the Thor, but Thor support is hard to do and not prevalent.
Okay. I'm going to go with Thor in the jungle because of 2 reasons. First of all, semi-global presence. Second of all, Chak is probably the best clearing, or like among the best clearing support. Definitely among the best clearing supports. Yeah. And Freya Athena has a huge weakness in clear. It can give Apollo a lot of lane control, and then I think you just transition them over. The other thing is, I feel like Chalk versus Nemesis isn't necessarily the best matchup because of the way that Retribution Shield works and because of the Divine Judgment. Either way, we'll see what That's a Paddlin does end up going with. We do think it will be Nua on the solo lane, but hey, they could pull out something chunky. And we'll be back in just a few minutes, guys, with your second match of the day. That's a Paddling versus Acceleration.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Challenger Cup. This is our second match of the day. That's a Paddlin versus Acceleration. We're featuring the brand new Spectator UI for you today, folks. We'd like to hear your feedback on it. Go ahead and find us on Twitter or something. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like. Definitely think it's a nice improvement. You can see lots of stuff. Let's talk about the teams, Kret.
All right, let's talk about them. That's a Paddlin on the blue side, coming on the bottom side of the map. And the left side of your Spectator UI, it's Proudfeet as your ADC Apollo will be supported by Jock Dworst. In the mid lane, AAMC 90 on Agni. In the jungle, it's Suspend on Thor. And Captain Desdene on Nua in the solo lane.
Incredible stuff coming out from those team comps. Game starting, we're seeing players sort of group up and find their original starting points. This just in, folks. Cloud9 solo laner NQ is no longer on the team. A little bit of SPL information.
What?
NQ has been benched and thus chosen to leave the team. What? No additional information, but you heard it here first, folks. It is what it is.
He's locked to the SPL. He's gonna be on a wildcard team. I'm calling that right now. He's gonna be on a wildcard
NQ is
team.
Arguably the best solo laner in the world.
I would argue that. I would argue that for hours.
A lot of people would say Zalia, but NQ is up there. Oh well, minions have spawned. We'll get back into that information a little bit later. That's a Paddlin versus Acceleration RR2 teams for you today. Acceleration on the right-hand side. That's a Paddlin on the left in blue. Buffs have been started. Nothing unorthodox as we see our two teams head to lane.
Yeah, in the middle lane, AMC is going to try and get control. Raw drops the heal. Will end up pulling the creeps out, which, not ideal. It does work for him decently well. And he's going to at least hit level 2 and not lose too much, or not be pressured too hard into tower. Let's take a look at this solo duo matchup, which I think goes incredibly in favor of That's a Paddlin. They have so much more range damage than Loki Nemesis.
Yeah, they really do. Loki Nemesis is going to have a hard time clearing this lane. They do have the decoy, which is better than if it was a Hunbats or something like that with absolutely no clear like that. So that might help Jelly and Oddtunes out in this initial clear fest, but as you mentioned, Kret, it's a Thor versus the Nua who actually has clear in her kit, so that's going to be an uphill battle for the first 2 minutes of the game for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Taking a look over at the duo lane, Acceleration is just getting pushed on every front, honestly. They pick losing lanes in general. The only one you can argue is Agni, I suppose, who once he hits level 5 is gonna, Ra into Agni. And Ra's gonna get pressured, but should be fine. Can do a good job of living through that harass. But actually, it's been really good play coming out from Acceleration in that solo lane to just sort of exert a little bit of control over the enemy jungler. And Thor looks like he's gonna be recalling, or just taking the long path into the jungle. Yeah, long path.
Yeah, he's gonna go around the long way. Now isolated in the solo lane is this Loki Nua matchup. Loki level 4, Nua level 3. Let's investigate this matchup a little bit, Kret. We have the decoy coming out from Loki to group the minions together and deal damage to him. The invisibility can essentially peel the minion stun, correct? Mm-hmm. So how do you feel about that? Because that minion stun is going to be how Nua plays aggressive, if she wants to at all.
I think peeling the minion stun could be very effective, but if you mess it up, then you're just stunned out of your invisibility, and that could be really, really bad news for Oddtunes. So we'll see how that ends up working. He does have lane control, and I feel like he shouldn't. So your new player, Captain Desdene, kind of getting pressure. I mean, Loki generally is he doesn't really lose solo lane, but he's losing solo lane. Now a gank coming out into the long lane. Divine Judgment out onto Worst. He's getting very low. Valkyrie's Discretion should be able to confirm this kill. It will not do enough damage, but Jelly is able to get the kill. Defender of Olympus used just in case, but the decision to dive does not come through. Raw with the snipe, looking for it through the wall, does not quite connect onto Proud Feet. Now damage coming out, stun from the bombs, but AMC is not going to take too much damage. And that's going to be, for the most part, the disengage unless Suspend wants to go back in. But he's only level 4, so I really don't think that's a Paddlin can take this fight. Acceleration looking very strong, and they have the potential to take both mid camps here if they play this little part right.
Yeah, it was an interesting situation. You know what I really liked about that, Cred, is that it's a deviation from the norm as right mid camps go down to Super Nerd all by, or Suspend all by himself. It's a deviation from the norm. We very rarely, if ever, see a sub 3-minute gank in the left lane, in the duo lane. It's completely across the map of the solo lane. The travel time can be spotted out by the mid laner if you choose the wrong path, but none of that happened, and successful gank from Freya, or successful gank from the jungler for acceleration, and that is essentially what secured that kill. Just surprise factor right there.
Yeah, it can be very, very strong when you get that early timing on level 5 and you're ready to fight. And that happened for everyone in Acceleration. I mean, looking at their experience advantage, it doesn't seem that high right now just because of the way wave farming does work. But I want to say around the time of that gank, they were about 800 experience ahead. Doesn't sound like that much, but when it's a few level 5s, that can be really big. Valkyrie's Discretion used to immune the Thor ultimate suspend will be coming out. Apollo's up in the air. That's actually a lot of resources used on a failed gank.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to get something for what you give, and that time around did not come full circle. 5 minutes into the game, only 1 kill. That's the gank over in duo lane. The first blood for the red team. Right-hand side, solo lane jungle. We see a little bit of pressure coming out from Acceleration, trying to keep pressuring that lead. They do get the blue buff, so that's going to be a win overall.
Athena ult Loki. Divine Judgment, big damage coming out. Athena needs to get that preemptive strike off, but too slow is the Agni taking down now Nua up in the air. But it's just going to buy some time, and it will be enough. Dr. Elo is backing off. How did Agni die? I guess
Nua
he was just too slow.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Gold Fury pulled, but it had to be reset. Shock is not tanky enough. It's unfortunate.
Freya returning to lane. Not much going on after that initial aggravation in the right-hand side for that's a Paddlin. Acceleration kind of found themselves 4 members deep on the right-hand side with not enough tankiness to really tank a tower in 6 minutes and not enough damage to take the tower either. So opted instead just to back, clear some jungle. Loki thought about stealing red, and he does so. So he's going to go ahead and drop red, or red buff was already dropped.
Yeah, it was already
not
dropped.
Functioning too well today, but Agni's going to go ahead and pick up that red buff that his team dropped for him, and mid laner with the red buff should be pretty standard, and mid camps will spawn in about a couple of seconds.
Now let's talk about your favorite item really quick. Heartseeker on Loki is very, very good. That movement speed is great, and at this point he should be getting really close to, if not already on. Yeah, there it is. So it's nearly full clear. He'll kill melee minions and rage minions 100% with his decoy, and that means that Loki can start to exert pressure on the map. Doing the pressure in the middle lane. Mystics is going to be in some trouble. Will avoid the Thor ultimate suspend. Doesn't really have the damage, and now is out of mana. Celestial Beam coming through will connect. Jelly is here, but what can they do? Ooh, Loki rotating in. They don't want to dive this tower, though. And instead... Oh, dash in. Nice preemptive strike. Interrupts the dash from AMC. The snipe comes out. Will connect, but will not result in a kill as Agni heads in the jungle and will find Freya. Valkyrie's Discretion used just to make sure that kill goes down 100% in the middle lane. Looks like a disengage, no kills going down there, but Shock is low enough and threatened enough that he has to back off, and this Gold Fury very well could go to Acceleration. They don't have a Hog 3, and Shock does.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. No Hawk 3 on the side of acceleration. Shot coming up from the bottom south side. They're going to have to kill him. That's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Great torrent right there, but not quick enough on the active, so that's going to give Gold's Fury 2.
Acceleration.
In red, acceleration picks it up. Apollo in the air. Knockup is good. That's going to knock one. Proud Feet picks up 1 kill. Slowed out, so not going to be able to chase
Slice
the
and
Nemesis.
Dice.
Slice and Dice picks up the kill on the backside. Suspend goes
Good play.
down. Very good play coming out from the Nemesis. Staying confident in the face of adversity despite low HP. And Jelly's going to go ahead and find safety.
Oddtunes is pressuring this tower so hard. Nuad down to just about 500 health. Sitting under her tower. Loki is just pressuring this. Wow. Proud Feet went for the kill onto Jelly and just didn't get it.
Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you just miss.
Let's explain that. At this point, Acceleration has a very big lead. They're sitting up 3,000 gold, 4,000 experience. That kill on Proud Feet sucked for him, like it was really unfortunate, but it's not going to be a big part of that difference. And now that's a Paddlin needs to find a way back in the game. And one of the ways that you could do that is taking risks. They just don't always pay off, and there it didn't.
Yeah, calculated risk is a very big part of extending a lead from something small into something really tangible. Sitting 9 minutes into the game, the lead is very small. The lead is, well, it's 4,600 gold. That's not very small, but it's, actually, Cret, that's a decent lead. So we're going to see that get even larger. You know
it's
why
really big.
I was so surprised because they've done it quietly. They have 6 kills.
Yeah.
But really no big giant things. This is where we're starting to see it. Good taunt in the back line of the... So Apollo going to fall to the hand of Jelly after a lot of damage coming out from the team. Great Valkyrie's discretion to avoid the Thor dunk. And Mystics going to go ahead and pick up 2 with a single ultimate. Dr. Elo cleans up the Thor in the back, and that's going to be 4 kills going the way of the red team. That 4K lead that I just referenced is now a 7,000 gold lead. Acceleration, very fitting with their name, as they hit the gas pedal and head to the lead.
That's 8,000 experience. They switched. Gold is on the right now. Yeah, new spectator client. We are adjusting, guys, but it's gonna be 5,000 gold and 8,000 experience. It's such a huge lead coming out. In the solo lane, Nuwa is gonna be in a bit of a tough position here. Big rotation coming in. Captain Desdine, I feel like he's gonna get absolutely murdered here. Rotation coming from his team, he could be okay. This is ominous. There's gonna be something big happening. There's the dash in, finds the taunt, but where's the burst damage coming in? Nice immune with the Aegis. Looks like the tower's gonna be the target as Nuwa goes up in the air. Thor lurking in the jungle, and Apollo is rotating in. Thor now in the mix. Oddtunes will be the focus target. Gets very low and is forced to assassinate away. Nice snipe from Mixis. Will secure the kill. And now Raw trying to stay alive with the help of the Defender of Olympus and his heal. But he's going to move into the path of flames. Will get taken down. Dr. Elo's preemptive strike is interrupted and will fall as well. Maybe not. There's the flame wave to get the kill on the backside. Thor ultimate coming down on Jelly's head. Over aggression results in a tower, but a lot given up for it.
A lot giving up indeed, as that's a Paddlin comes down on the right-hand side. They're going to pick up that tower. Freya proxy clearing this wave over in the left-hand side. Freya not particularly adept at killing towers, especially without the Polynomicon that has really fallen out of favor on Freya builds recently. So
yeah,
we're not going to see her able to destroy this tower, but honestly, Freya will take the tower in about the same amount of time it takes 4 members of that Paddlin to take down this solo lane tower. So that's a win overall. Breaking about even just if you ignore the kills that went on the right-hand side. And Freya, level 13, Famous Hate, 2 levels over, or 1.5 levels above his opponent as he aggresses onto Nuwa, who has since swapped over to this long lane.
Yeah, Nuwa just was in a position to rotate over and stop that push. Freya, very uncharacteristically, is able to get a tower with her split push because she's not very good at killing towers, what it comes down to. Beads coming out from Ra, he wants to get aggressive on AMC, but not really going to happen. Freya in the jungle will use her beads as well, dashing into his Doctor. Elo finds a 2-man taunt, but what's the follow-up beads used from Suspend? There's a banish out on Proud Feet, but the snipe does not connect now to Worst. Could be out of position, but No, it looks like that's not going to turn into an engagement from Acceleration. They tried to force out a lot. They got a few beads, but could have been a lot more.
5 members of Acceleration in this left-hand lane. They're going to go ahead and push out onto it. Loki waiting for the interjection. Here comes Chalk, taunted into a lot of damage, and that's just going to be a fray in the air. Good damage reduction from that Chalk ultimate, but not enough. Thor lands, and Nuwa takes the kill anyway. Famous Hate picks up the double in the back line. Now Jelly aggressing onto the Nuwa, traded him for the kill onto Thor. Now taunt in, and that is a dead Thor. Suspend got absolutely annihilated with that taunt, and fantastic communication coming out from Acceleration. Credit. Yeah. We're seeing combined damage on the right targets, and then acceptable splits. When Loki and Freya want to split into individual fights, they're allowing it, but in general, we're seeing Acceleration just completely group up and make contested team plays as they take the Gold Fury. Acceleration looking very good in the second match of the day.
8,005 on the gold lead and 12,000 experience is very substantial. You know, I want to highlight the way OddTunes is playing this Loki. He's made some mistakes. He's used the past 2 team fights, or at least 2 of the past 3 team fights, he's used his Assassinate defensively, which you don't want to do. But I love the way he's playing Loki nonetheless, because he's using all the tools at his disposal to be sneaky, and he's coming back in when he finds an opportunity to get his high single target burst off onto a target. He's applying a lot of pressure, and in some ways the way he's playing Loki is less about damage and more about fear. He doesn't really have a good amount of player damage, sitting at 3,000, and in fact, player damage is very low across the board from Acceleration, which really comes down to the fact that they're doing a great job of securing kills. I mean, just adding this up real quick, I want to say it's roughly 23,000 player damage total across the team, and that's 15 kills. That is incredible.
Very good attention to the numbers right there, and you know, it's just showing where it's all coming from. And as we talk about the numbers more coming out under tower, Agni going to suffer the inevitable death. Jelly, the jungler, going to go ahead and pick that up. Nemesis ult onto Proudfeed. He's got to play careful for a couple of seconds while he loses those protection. Great job coming from Athena to find her ailing jungler with that ultimate. Loki in the back trying to find something, but now he's caught out without a battle, while Famous Hate comes around the corner and picks up the chasers. Wow. Loki and Nemesis turn, and Suspend immediately gets ripped to shreds like we saw the last time. That is another deicide going the way of Acceleration. They're going to pick up this tower. Expect to see the Phoenix as well. I think they're a little too low to take the Fire Giant just yet, Cred, but this Phoenix is inevitably going to go down, and a 15-minute Phoenix is definitely the recipe for map control.
I just want to mention that both Freya and Ra did 2,000 damage in that team fight, and Loki also did 2,000 damage in that team fight. So that was, I mean, yes, it was a deicide, but that was a lot of damage coming out across the board from Acceleration. They really focused their targets. Nobody got even close to getting away, which is what's so impressive. And that's just really good team calling, team fight calling.
The team fight calling is incredible. We have 2 members of Acceleration pushed up, which might not be the right call with 4 members of that's a Paddlin coming here, but they're going to make it out no problem. Even if we take a look at the simplified stats, Cred, it's showing up on the scoreboard. We have a support going 2-1 and 10, Sovereignty finished. Nemesis is 5-1 and 11. With the way Nemesis kit works, 11 assists is fantastic. 7-1 and 8 on Famous Hate, 5-2 and 10. We take a look, there are 20 kills. Everybody on this team has at least 14 kills and assists combined. The team has been active in most of these kills.
That is incredible kill participation. I mean,
like solo Loki is 1-0 and 4, and everyone else is just incredibly involved. It's phenomenal to see how well this machine is coming together as a team.
On the left-hand side, Freya caught out 1v1, not quite going to find the hits from her ultimate that she wants, and really needs to turn this around onto Suspend, and will be able to do so. The damage from Famous Hate is absolutely well, I can believe it. Freya's ridiculous. But yeah, you know what? I want to highlight, like, obviously the core is going to be contributing to a lot of these fights as Fire Giant is pulled. Dwarfs is going to use his ultimate prematurely just so he can get in, but the Hog will go to Acceleration, and Dwarfs will fall. He tried for the solo steal. It was the best play available to him. He wasn't able to get it.
Yep. You have to
Unsurprising.
Do it. You have to do
exactly.
it.
If
Sometimes
he got it would have bought 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want to highlight is obviously the mid jungler and support will have a lot of kill participation, but Famous's rotations from Freya have been unreal. Interrupted out of the dash, and Proudly will go down. Great assassinate from Oddtunes. Now Nuwa gets up into the air, but she's gonna land. That decoy
stun.
almost got the kill. Good stun, but it's not going to buy enough time. Now damage out onto the Agni, suspend in the fountain, and the double dash will get the kill. You don't see that too often. Oddtunes unleashes single target DPS on the Titan. It does have decent protections because there are 2 Phoenixes up, and Oddtunes will be forced to back off. Now coming back in, target is going to be AMC, who is immediately taking down. The power of Loki when he gets ahead is unbelievable. Doors going down as well. The single target damage from acceleration is going to be enough to take the Deicide, take the Titan, take the game, and allow them to move on to face Jacket off in a round of 16.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be what we saw right there, Cret, is just acceleration played fantastically in the beginning of the game. The gold differential, yes, the gold, not the experience differential, was about 16,000, and at that point you can't really team fight. You actually can't. You need to find your wins via 6v5 fights, meaning underneath a structure, and even that's not enough. Because it's 16,000 18 minutes into the game, so that's a Paddlin having a very hard time really contesting any fight. Have to look for more creative strategies, and acceleration just really not giving them any chance to really do anything like that. Complete dominance coming out from acceleration, and more a fantastic display of teamwork and rotations, then that's a Paddlin dropping the ball, folks. Acceleration just absolutely knew what they wanted to do, came out and did it, and wound up winning 28-5 in 18 minutes.
And there are going to be 2 of the original 4 Disney Princess teams remaining in the tournament. Rapunzel's have been eliminated. There were 4, yeah. Fruit Punch is a princess team, Acceleration is a princess team, and there's Disney Princesses, and there's Acceleration, which have a Disney clan tag. There are 4. There are actually 4. 2 of them have been eliminated, 2 remain, the Princesses and Acceleration. Acceleration will be facing Jacket off, Disney Princesses up against Mimic. We're going to be moving into our next round match as well, guys, so stay tuned for that. This is your North American Challenger Cup Week 6, the penultimate week, where we're probably going to see the top 2 decided, so stay tuned. I can't wait to see what happens.